Go where?
Go live.
Oh,
Well, actually, I think it's a start broadcast, so
you sure it's not go live? You sure they're
it
not
could
trying
be.
to encourage? They're trying to encourage you.
Get off the computer and go live your life,
Go live
man.
your life.
Get off
Get off
this
this Google.
thing. What is wrong
Go
with
live.
you?
Go live. Shuts down the whole hangout.
That'd be a
Shuts
nice.
down
That'd
the
be a nice
feature.
feature for meetings, right? Yeah. And go live. Goodbye. You guys are droning on and on. Yeah.
Like, don't watch us. Go live.
Go. Just go live somewhere, anywhere, under a bridge. Doesn't really matter. All right. So I guess we can kick this thing off for real.
Let's get this thing going,
Do we know what we're calling it?
huh? Go live.
uh, I don't
No, I
know.
don't know. I don't know. That's like I said. The YOLO might be the best the best thing you get out of me.
Your only contribution for the night.
My only contribution to the show is going to be me saying YOLO.
Okay. Well, I'll see what I could do.
And I got my Allen Iverson practice hat on.
Are you talking about practice?
Not a game.
Okay. Welcome to the Lucy Couple Podcast, episode 27. Tonight we are talking about sedentary life, being a developer, burnout. Apparently, there's going to be some dad jokes. I don't know about that. I don't know who put that in there, Matt.
Yeah, I don't know.
I am your co-host, Jeff, and this is Matt. Matt, how's it going tonight?
Yeah. I'm
Going.
feeling a little bit under the weather, as you could probably tell by my voice. Long week at work, long vacation the weekend before that. Not long in terms of duration, but long in terms of anytime I go back to visit my parents with the kids, it's a lot less relaxing than when I go by myself. So,
It's understandable.
yeah, we had a good time. They had a good time. By the time we got home, I was pretty much done. But they had a good time. I got to see grandma and grandpa and everybody. So, I can't complain. That's what the trip was for. So,
Yeah, that's about like my. We went to Oklahoma to visit my in-laws earlier in the month, and I don't know. There's just something about driving in the car for 7 hours that the next day I'm just like, I don't really want to do anything.
yeah.
I just want to not.
Well, I got back at 2 a.m. We were gonna leave Monday like early. My son just started football, and he had practice on Monday evening. So we were gonna drive home like early Monday morning, and I think like by the time Sunday night hit, like the kids were like, "Can we just go tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah." So we got home at like 2:30 in the morning on
Nice.
Sunday night, and then basically um, from there it was basically just like I'm either going to sit around in my house all day and do nothing, or I'll go to work. So I went to work, and as you can imagine, was incredibly productive.
And then you sat around and did nothing at work.
I just changed the
Makes
venue.
sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
No, it actually wasn't as bad. I popped an Adderall on the way home because I hadn't taken one during the day. So I'm like, I'm gonna make the 6 hour drive. I'm like, I'm gonna be, gnawing on the steering wheel. Made it home without any issues, and then he woke up the next morning and popped another Adderall. Like, I didn't go into work until like 11:30 or so, so it wasn't like busting my ass to get out of bed and get in at 8:30 or 9. But it was good. It was good to get out of the house and not going from like a. It's actually kind of a good segue into what we're going to talk about tonight. But like going from being around a lot of people to like being home by yourself, like quickly like that for me is. I know I don't look like it, but like at the end of a day like that, like I feel like White Goodman at the end of Dodgeball when he's like eating the chicken leg. Like that's how I feel.
Okay. Fair enough.
That was a good reference there too, by the way. Just, just saying.
Are you high-fiving yourself?
A little bit. A little bit. Come
All
on.
right.
Come on.
All right. Well, yeah,
Was that a good
job with
segue, or did I just make that up?
I mean, yeah, I guess it's a good segue because we're talking about sedentary lives and such.
Yeah.
So,
It's a segue.
yeah, it is a segue. Yeah. No, I mean, I think this is well, I mean, it's particularly relevant for me, I guess, because I've been trying to increase my non-sedentary lifestyle, or I guess decrease my sedentary lifestyle. I don't know.
I think
Increase my
either way
movement.
works.
I don't know, whatever.
Move more. Go live.
Yeah, but it's it's something that I think is challenging. And I was thinking back, in pretty much every job I've had, like regardless whether I was in an office or working at home or whatever, I was always pretty you get into that quote unquote zone, or you start working on something, and it's very, at least for me, it's very easy for me to just be like, oh, it's 4 o'clock and I have not gotten up out of this chair all day. Like it's very easy to do that, I think, and it's something that is challenging for developers. So I thought it'd be cool to talk about like kind of strategies and experiences with that.
Yeah. I agree. I've kind of been on both sides of the coin here recently. Not that I'm a whole lot more active. Like I basically get in the car and drive for an hour and then sit at a desk all day, and then I'm probably taking like 11 more steps than you. But definitely, I have definitely noticed a difference in being in the office versus being at home.
Yeah, I mean, some of it. So like my previous job where I worked, previous job, I was in a building, and just little things like using the restroom or getting water or whatever, depending on where you work and what kind of environment it is, you may have a 10-step walk or you may have a 100-yard walk. Like it just really depends on what your environment is like. So I got to thinking about it, and I wish I had like a Fitbit from back in those days, and just to kind of look at averages of how many steps I took when I was at certain jobs, because there was one place where I worked where I had a desk in this room, and then the bathroom was literally on the complete other side of the entire building.
Yeah,
like I had to walk through all the offices that in my area, out this door, down a hallway, past like the receptionist, and then around this corner just to get to the restrooms.
Right.
So you're getting activity just by getting up, and then of course you've got the whole you get up and start walking there, so then other people are talking to you, and then you're like, oh, let's go to lunch, and you walk to lunch or whatever. And so it's just there's a lot more movement opportunities, I think, when you're in an environment with other people than if you're say working at home, where like for me, the nearest bathroom to my office is probably 6 feet away from where I'm sitting right now. Well, maybe it's like 10, 15 feet away from where I'm sitting right now. It's just like out a door and to the restroom.
Yeah.
And then my kitchen is another maybe 30 steps. And then I'm, that's like the whole area.
I was really hoping you were going to say that the closest bathroom was a Gatorade bottle under your desk. I was really hoping for that, but no, I understand.
No, I mean, I installed a system, so I don't have to. Yeah, I mean, it's not like a Gatorade bottle; it's more high tech. But
well, you'd have to go empty it from time to time.
Yeah, of course.
You have to walk to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and so this came up in my mind just because I started to think about it and just be like, hey, maybe I'm killing myself by sitting around too much. So I was like, hey, let's start getting a little more active. And then I happened to look, and I'm friends with Omni on Fitbit, where I don't know if that's called friends or whatever.
Your Fit buddies.
Yeah, we're associated in some way on Fitbit. And I was looking, and he averages like 18,000 steps a day or something like that. Something ridiculous. And so I tweeted him. I was like, dude, seriously, like, how do you get that many steps in? Because I know he works at home, I work at home, so I'm like, let's say you go for a
He's got like
walk.
a treadmill desk.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was just curious. I was like, do you have a treadmill desk? Like, what is it that you're doing? And he was just talking about, well, I use the restroom that's upstairs or downstairs or whatever from where he is, and
Mm-hmm.
then I jog. During the day at some point he jogs, and then he's like just kind of walk a whole bunch, and then he slowly increased his he slowly
Sorry, that's like
increased his step count.
the least specific like
Yeah.
regimen ever. I just I thought I walked some.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, he makes opportunities to
Right.
walk. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
no,
like
that makes sense.
he was saying, like, he just started taking his Fitbit goal and increasing it as he was meeting it. He was like, okay, let's just increase it a little bit further, and then
Right.
he even made a joke about he's like, I'll walk circles around my kitchen at the end of the day just to reach the goal. And I thought it was kind of funny too. And then yesterday I saw that I was within like 1,000 steps of my goal or whatever towards the end of the day, and I said fine. So I started walking laps around my living area and into the kitchen, and like just
Mhm.
doing a few laps until I got there, just to prove a point, just to get there. And that's great, and it worked great yesterday. But today I'm at like half of my goal or something
Yeah.
because
So I've got a Jawbone um, that I use for sleep and exercise tracking, which are like two things that I just don't do.
I used
uh,
to track the exercise I'm not doing and the sleep
yeah,
I'm not getting.
but no, my setup now, like, so I was at home for about the last 2 years before April, and yeah, I had to really like, my bedroom's upstairs, so I would always get the walk, up the 11 or 12 steps, to my bedroom, and you know go to sleep, and whatever else. There's a bathroom up there, the kids are up there, so I would have the opportunities to do things like that. But I found a lot of times, being at home, you wake up, you're at work, you take those 11 or let's call it 30 steps from my bedroom to my desk, and I sit down and I work all day. I sit here, and even like, I found it really easy to um, I don't know. For me, it makes it really easy to like get into that pattern of spacing out. Like, just when I'm in an office, if I need to take a 5 minute break, I'll go get a cup of coffee. I'll walk over to the kitchen. I'll find somebody to talk to for a little bit and just kind of shoot the shit for a bit. But um, at home, it was like, all right, well, if I'm gonna take my 5 minute break, I'm gonna talk on IRC, or I'm gonna watch some sort of stupid shovel girl or something. Um, which off. By the way, I am a huge fan of Shovel Girl.
Oh no, just no,
It's one of the just prime
no shovel
pieces
girl, no
of
shovel
media
girl. No.
on the internet. Love Shovel Girl, but so like I found myself getting into that habit, and I went from a very before I moved out to Ohio, a very active lifestyle. I was running races. I was running marathons, half marathons, 5Ks. I worked in downtown Chicago, so I'd take the train. I'd have to walk up to the train platform, take the train, walk from the train to the office, and so it was a very active lifestyle. I bet if I had this jawbone, then I'd be hitting my 10,000 step goal, pretty regularly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, being at home kind of really threw that part off. And even when I had like the urge or the motivation to exercise, it was so hard to get from here, to my short little running shorts and actually get outside and actually do something. Um, it's just, yeah, it was crazy to me how much it snowballed.
Yeah.
Right, you do it once, you're like, oh, okay, I feel a little bit I feel a little bit down today, whatever. I didn't get a chance to work out. I didn't get a chance to interact with people. Move around a whole lot, right? But then every day, like it just the motivation gets farther and farther away. It's like
Yep.
every day, it's like, well, I didn't run yesterday, so I mean, I don't really I don't have like a streak going.
I'll do it on Monday.
Right, right. Like,
Yeah.
okay, next week I'm gonna, stop being a jackass, and
Yep.
get out and take care of myself. The funny thing is, like, even with my new job, same situation kind of to where you're at, or similar situation anyway. Like, I sit in the very, very back of the office, well, front of the office, but we come in the back. So every day when I go to work, I've got to walk, basically the whole entire length of the office to get to my desk.
Hmm.
There's a bathroom that's all the way back on the other side of the office, so I do get a fair amount of back and forth. But yeah, it's still not like ideal.
Yeah.
And I think part of that challenge is like we have desk jobs.
Yep.
And that's, I feel like you have to be like talking step goals or just general health or whatever. Like, I feel like you really have to be very, very deliberate about not only finding opportunities to work out and to do that stuff, but to take those opportunities as well.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the key, and that's the real thing here is yes, being a developer or being a programmer means you have a desk job, like you have a job that maybe it doesn't require a physical desk, maybe you're using a laptop at a coffee shop or whatever, but when you're working on it, you're usually sitting down or standing desk or whatever you're doing, but you're stationary, you're not really moving around a lot. And the key is you have to make and take the opportunities to get in some movement. Like,
Right.
for me, what I've started doing is I blocked off time to do work in kind of Pomodoro fashion. So I've got 25-minute segments and then 5-minute breaks. And what I started doing is when my break comes up, I just go outside and start walking. So I walk for 5 minutes or whatever. Just just like get away from the desk, because I think working at home, it's so an example would be meetings, right? If you're in the office and you've got a meeting, that generally means you get up from your desk, you walk to a conference room, you sit down, or whatever. You go to the restroom on your way, on your way there or whatever. So you're
Cup of
walking around a
coffee,
little
yeah.
bit to and from the meetings.
Right.
When you're working at home, you're sitting there developing, and the calendar invite comes up and says, "Hey, there's a meeting in 5 minutes." And for me, what do I normally do? I'm like, "Oh, cool, all right. So let me, I've got water, I've got everything I need right here. So let me just sit here and I'll join the meeting." And then I'm in the room, like I'm already
Right.
there, so I didn't
Right.
have to do anything.
You're
So
basically always in the room.
yeah, you're pretty much
from a practical standpoint. Anyway.
yeah, the room is coming to you instead of the other way around. So
Right.
what I've tried to do is when those notifications come up and tell me, "Hey, you've got a meeting in 5 minutes," I'll pretend that I'm going to, a conference room, or I'll go fill up water, or, I'll just get up and go move around a little bit and, get a little bit more exercise, or just get like a little more movement in my day, just because it's
Right. Like simulating the experience of being in an office.
simulating experience, and then also just getting me out of the chair for a little
Right.
while.
Right. Role playing, if you will.
Yeah. Pretending I'm getting all the benefits of the office without the cost or whatever.
Right. Well, that's nice because you get to like be with your coworkers and they don't get to see you crying.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the main goal. It's just I want to avoid my coworkers seeing me crying.
Yeah.
That's why I just turn the camera off is what I do.
Yeah, and I would too. Just get through some of those sniffles and muster up a strong sentence.
Yeah. That's pretty much my day right there. I mean, I don't know.
Dude, that's like been every day for me like the last 5 years. So I feel you.
Yeah. So I mean, and then so the other reason I wanted to talk about this is there's been a lot of attention recently, or at least it just seems like there's been a lot of attention recently put on, burnout and the idea of burnout and what is it and, how does it
Yeah.
affect you and everything. And I think for me, at least, sometimes and I don't want to use, words, but,
Right.
like the depressive nature of, being sedentary or like feeling sedentary, like sometimes it's hard to distinguish that from, being burnt out. Like, and sometimes they are very tightly, coupled. They're very,
Not loosely coupled.
yeah, not loosely coupled. They're very tightly coupled. Like, I mean, so thinking about, so for my case,
Right.
I can sit here and work, and then, around, you know 5:30 or so, my son will come home, and so I'll get up from my desk, and I'll go out and play with him for a little bit, and then I can very easily pick up my laptop and sit down on the couch or like on a recliner or a chair or something or a table or whatever, and then you know talk on Twitter with people or IRC or work on some side project or something like that. But I've just taken only 20 minutes or 30 minutes or so to do something besides sit down and type on a keyboard.
Yeah.
And so then that leads to, what have I done with my entire day? And for me, my schedule would be, I take my kid to daycare in the morning, come home, get breakfast or something, and then
Get
start
dog food.
working. Get what?
Get dog food.
Get dog food, and then work. Stop working, play with my son a little bit, maybe eat dinner, and then get back on a computer. So I've literally done with the majority of my day a computer. Like I've just been typing, I've been computering all day
Yeah.
long. And that's, I think to me, that just very easily turns into, I've been computering for 2 weeks, a
Mm-hmm.
month. And I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not like the same feeling that you get when you're really burnt out is you're just like, I'm overwhelmed with all of this.
Yeah, no, I agree. The funny thing is, we're working on computering things that will like drop our kids off at daycare without ever having to get up. Like everything, all this new technology, like dogs that can feed themselves. You never have to go buy dog food ever again. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna turn your leg muscles are gonna completely atrophy, and you'll no longer even be able to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's yeah. It is an interesting distinction. Kind of between, I guess, for lack of a better term, like depression,
Yeah.
and burnout.
Yep.
It's like I know for me, I mean, I've never really been sure. Like to be fair, up until recently, never really felt the need to like classify, like the feelings or the source of the feelings or what they were. Like it was like I feel bad.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, whether it's from sitting around and being depressed or being, kind of separated from people, or whether it's because, I've been elbows deep in code for, 6 weeks straight. And, when I'm not coding, I'm thinking about coding. And when I'm not thinking about coding, I'm still probably thinking about coding. And I guess it's been recently I've kind of tried to, because obviously if you don't know where it's coming from, right? Like if I'm burned out and I chalk up how I'm feeling to depression, like I'm going to go for a jog. And not that it won't help. I mean, I think exercise and being active, I think, is always going to help kind of center yourself a little bit. But, if it's like actual burnout, like I need to know the best way for me to start to fix that and kind of get back to a refreshed, sharp place is to take a step back, walk away.
Yeah.
Maybe that night where I've got that open source project I'm working on, or that thing for work that I, had kind of committed to doing, maybe I'll just play Xbox or, watch Netflix or, not actually exercise. I didn't want to give you the wrong idea. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, so for me, like recently, I guess the point I'm trying to make is recently it's been um, important for me to kind of understand, not only that, that I am feeling bad, but like, what is the source of that? Am I working
Yeah.
too, am I just working myself to death? If so, I'll take a couple days PTO and go. I don't know. I don't do anything, but hypothetically, I would go like fishing or something. Um, if I'm depressed, it's a whole different checklist. When's the last time I saw, a therapist? When's the last time, I got outside? I got actual like natural sunlight. And it's just for me. I find those feelings go away quicker when I kind of know what they're doing, and just some really basic, really basic things for me to do in order to kind of counterbalance, those bad feelings.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, it's definitely tricky, and a big thing for me, kind of in addition to that, like I mentioned before, I worked at home for 2 years, but it was like 2 years immediately following um, a separation, a job change, and um, moving to a new state and moving into a town where, you know, I wasn't the most popular guy. They didn't have a parade for me as I came in. Um, that those are a lot of big life changes to kind of happen all at once.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially the lack of parade.
I mean, and then they had me pay taxes. Like, well, where's my parade?
Sure.
I'll tell you what, you give me a parade, I'll give you your tax money. No, but it's like going through all those big changes and then like just being here alone by myself for, sometimes like a day and a half, 2 days at a time, where like the only people I would see would be uh, the person at the Burger King drive-through. Like, oh hey, Agnes.
Yeah.
And like I'm like, wow, like why are things getting worse? I'm like, well, I could text somebody, I could even get somebody on the phone. I could talk about what's going on with people, and I'm very fortunate to have a lot of people that have offered that to me and that care enough to to listen to me just basically bitch and moan constantly. Like, you're one of those people. Like,
I feel privileged.
What is this, episode 27?
Yep.
You've got like at least like just on the podcast, like over a full like day of just listening to me bitch and moan.
Yep.
If I had to guess, I would say it's probably almost 2 days. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But like it was it was just weird. It was different. I'd see the kids, and the kids would come over, and I would be like so down, and they would be so excited to see me. They'd come in running, Daddy, and I'm like, people, what and it was an adjustment for me. It was an adjustment for them. Like I noticed after about a month, they started coming in a little bit quieter, and like I like it when they come running inside and they're like super excited to see me. I just wasn't in a place, like from a mentality aspect, where I was prepared to deal with that.
Yeah.
And it was honestly, it took me, even after I made this last job change. I had to think about how to word that. I was still looking for remote jobs. Like, yeah, I'm gonna make this work, and then like deciding to take a job that's an hour away has been probably one of the most refreshing things that I've done. It's definitely the best decision I've made, like in the last year at least. It's not a very high bar, but it's been one of those just like I didn't know if it was going to work out. I thought I was going to hate the commute. Thought I was going to just get to work and want to just like you know not talk to anyone or just kind of like do the same thing I did at home. And, the fact of the matter is seeing people, getting to know people, having conversations with new people, meeting new people, all that kind of stuff has been phenomenal for me. So that's why, like, I don't know, like, I don't tweet anymore. I'm just like, I talk to real people now.
Not fake internet people.
I don't talk to fake internet people anymore.
Yeah, but so I think that's important is, you have to know what works for you, or, if something's really like, if you constantly feel like, oh, this sucks, or, I just don't want to get up. I don't want people to see, like, I don't want to see people. I just kind of want to, hack away all day and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're feeling bad about it, maybe you should change the environment, like maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's the signal to yourself, like, just, really think about, what's causing it. And I think that's, if you haven't heard of burnout.io, you should go check that out. But
is that like a pot site?
no, it's about burnout. But they've got a section where they talk about, ideas, or, how can you help yourself. And, in there they talk about, figuring out if the reason you're feeling that burnout, or the reason you're feeling like you don't want to do this is, is because of you. And so this was what you were talking about earlier with the whole, am I just working way too much? Am I not, am I not giving myself, the proper amount of time off? Right. Am I not seeing people that I need to see, or, that sort of thing? And then look at, is it other people that are causing the problem, or some other force that's causing me to feel this way? And it could be, a bunch of requests that you feel like you have to fix, a bunch
Right.
of bugs that you feel like are your responsibility or whatever. Or it could be, that, hey, there's 8 different features that need to be implemented, and it's like, you should implement them all. And you're like, well, no, I can't. And you can't say no, or, you feel like you can't say no. And I think we've talked about this before, but I think by far the best tool you can ever develop for yourself as a developer is
agile.
But is being an agile no ninja. But seriously, it's learning how, and, when it's appropriate, or when to say no,
Mm-hmm.
and then how to help people deal with the fact that you just told them no. Like, those skills not only help in developer, but they help in the rest of your life as well. But, being able to tell someone, I understand what you're saying. However, that's not really a feasible thing. And then give them alternatives, or give them, like, the confidence that you're not just being a dick. Like, that is a very important skill.
Yeah.
And that's something that can really help you, especially with when you need to, kind of distance yourself from this work pile, like this pile of work or whatever. Like, the word no, or the helping people deal with the fact that you're telling them it's not going to happen. Those skills are essential.
See, I don't know. Like, we have a different, like, imagine that. I don't know. I'm gonna think about how I'm gonna word this. Like, I don't, like, for me, like, dealing with things and trying to manage, like, other people's expectations, and not from, like, a expectations is probably the wrong word. Other people's feelings is very, very stressful for me, because I tend to get into these patterns where I'll be like, oh, I just said that, what do they think about me? Maybe they hate me now, maybe they're gonna fire me, or castrate me, or burn me at the stake.
Or all of those.
Or like, literally fire me while they're castrating me. And so, like, for me, like, I've gotten to a point where I'm like, you know what? Like, part of my job is to set realistic expectations, right? Like, I would never, I think there is a measure of respect that you have to, do it with. So you can't be like, I hear the words that you're saying, but the problem is the words that you're saying are really dumb. Like, you can't go that route. But, like, I I've had people come up to me like, "Hey, is this going to be done by the end of the day?" I'm like, "No, sorry, bro." Like, like what do you say? Like, it's not going to be done.
Yeah.
I try to never promise people that it will be done.
Yeah.
We work through things as long as they're prioritized and they're, descriptive and everything. Like, we'll do stuff as fast as we can, but saying no is freeing. But that's the one part I would disagree with. Like, for me, I don't know. I look at it very simplistically, like everything else. I'm pretty much a simpleton, um, in the sense that, like, especially on my team now, like we have three people. It's me, um, and two people that are doing programming a lot more frequently throughout the day than I am. I've got probably 25 to 35% of my day where I'm, setting up interviews, doing other important but not programming things. And like if someone comes up to me like, well, why isn't this done? Because we basically have like 2.5 programmers, and you have about 30 hours of work that you somehow expected we were going to get done today. And that's the other thing too. Like, not to take this a totally different direction, but when you're running a team or when you're a lead on a team, like, it's really funny how hypocritical I can be. Like, I'll tell J Bay to take a day off. Like, I'll just be like, dude, like, you've been here like 8-9 days straight. Like, take a day off. Like, don't burn yourself out. Take a day off. Go do your thing. And then I'll do the
Go
same.
home.
Right?
Get a hobby.
Yeah. All right. Like, he just bought a house, so he's got.
Go paint a room or something. Man.
Yeah, paint a room, bro. But like, I'll do the same thing. I'll show up 8-9 days in a row where I'll work 15, 16-hour days. And they're like, hey, you should, why don't you, come in late? I'm like, oh, that's fine. I got it, whatever. So it's funny how I can be hypocritical. I can see it in other people. I can see, like, if Justin or Rachel starts to get, like, into a phase where they're just being crushed, by work, like, and they're feeling like they have to work 10, 11-hour days and work, a Saturday or a Sunday, like, I can't I guess I could. Well, I'm not going to make them take a day off, but I try to strongly suggest it.
So you can just basically tell them, look, you don't have to go home, but you just have to get out of here. Right? Like, you can use that one on them.
What I do is I slash their tires and make them walk home.
Walk, it's good for you.
Hope you got a Fitbit.
I have a feeling someone's going to do that to me now. They're going to be.
I'll come down and slash your tires if you need somebody.
Like some of my coworkers or something when I'm out in San Francisco, they'll like drive me out to the middle of nowhere and drop me off. And be like, all right, you said you wanted to get some extra steps. Here you go.
Yeah. See, I'm walking now, so my coworkers are probably like, hey, you're killing it.
You're killing it. Nice. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's, I don't think that we disagree that much.
No, I don't either.
On the whole no thing. Like, I think
you try to give it to them soft. We can't do this because you're a beautiful, delicate flower.
Well, no, I mean, it's
I'm just teasing
around people in reality, right? Like,
right.
Someone's like, hey, can you do this? And like, I mean, we can't do that because we're doing these things, right? Like, this is how reality works. I mean, there is an option that we could do something along those lines that could help you get somewhere close to where you want to go, or at least on the path where you want to go. But no, we can't actually do that. And so I kind of use that as the team thing, but then I also use it personally. Like, someone's like, hey, can we
record a podcast tonight?
Yeah, let's record a podcast tonight. And I'm like, no, I'm busy, but we can record one tomorrow, just
right. Yeah, it's just about managing your time and your obligations and your expectations.
Yeah, and then just keeping a general stock of, I don't want to overbook myself to the point where I end up on the brink of burnout. Like I don't want to be like, yeah, we can do, like, I mean, yeah, there's plenty of opportunities I could easily say, yeah, we could do that feature and then just work a few extra hours every day.
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't be that bad. It probably wouldn't kill me. But then now I've just given the expectation that we can do 120% of the work or
Right.
of what we
Right. You
had been
said
doing.
that, and it's not going to stay at 120%.
No, I mean, it could be 120% for like a week, and then it has to go
Right.
down to 80% while we recover and then back up to 100%. Like, that's just how it should work.
Right. Well, my point is, once you set the expectation that you're going to do 120% of the work in 100% of the time,
Yeah.
like for yourself, you're right. Like you've got to go back down to 80 and then kind of come back up. But the expectation that you set with other people is, this guy's a machine. He did 120% of the work. Let's give him 125% of the work.
Yeah. Let's just keep giving him the work and see what happens. Yeah.
Give him the work. Yeah.
He's never let us down before, so why would he stop now?
Right.
That's the whole hero thing, right? Then I think we talk about this on burnout.io as well. Like it's you don't have to be a hero. It's if you try to be the hero, if you try to be the person that solves all the problems, you try to be the person that's I'm the first one in the office and the last one to leave. If you're that, if you have that mentality, you're going to quickly find yourself in the place where you're like, I don't want to do anything because I literally can't even right now.
Yeah. Well, I found like the time I spend programming at home has gone down very significantly since going into the office. I'm okay with that. It's, if it was any other way. I mean, there's been days where I've had to come home and, had my share of, 14, 15, 16-hour days where something's broken and it's got to be not broken.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at this burnout.io. I thought they were going to sell like skater clothes. Doesn't look like they do. Do you know who did this? I saw that it was a collaborative effort or a collaborative.
I don't know who's really behind it.
Okay. I was just curious.
I've seen it come up I've seen several people mentioning it, and it looks interesting. So it's like,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'll have to check it out in, greater detail when I'm actually looking now to see if I know anybody. No, not really.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just, it's useful because it is, other people in the, community that are contributing to it. So it's just, get different perspectives and
yeah.
And then you can add your own.
My own perspective?
Yeah.
That's one thing I completely lack.
Perspective.
Perspective.
All right.
No, I mean, it seems like a really neat tool, actually. Like, or resource is probably a better word for it.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. And so whoever did burnout.io, I don't know if I know you or we've ever met personally, but good job. Thanks.
If you happen to be listening, good job.
If you're a regular listener of the Loosely Coupled podcast.
If you're not a regular listener, then not a good job, man.
Yeah. You got to step up your game.
Seriously. Get it together.
But yeah. I mean, I guess for me, that's the biggest thing. Like, that weird being still, being, what's the word? Sedentary. One of them means like a rock.
A sedentary rock?
Is that, well, all rocks are, I mean, you don't have rocks with legs that walk around.
No, that is it.
But isn't that word like the same thing?
Yes. I mean, there is a.
I'm not a geologist, so don't.
Sedimentary.
Sediment. Okay, that's like it's like a sentimental rock that doesn't move.
No.
Okay.
You're terrible.
Right. So anyway, the one that means where you don't move.
Yeah.
Sedentary. Is that right?
Sedentary. Yes.
Okay. So sedentary. I don't even know words. I don't even know what I was going to say. I just wanted to make sure I had those words straight, I think. But no, I mean that was the biggest thing for me. There it is. It's coming back to me now. It was just kind of realizing, like for me, like the depression, that's easy. Like I hate myself. I'm gonna jump off the roof. YOLO. Like I can understand that. I can wrap my head around that, and I can do things to prevent me from actually jumping off the roof. I don't mean to make light of it, but like that's kind of that downward spiral of thoughts that you have when you're legitimately depressed.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the biggest disconnect with being sedentary was like I'm being productive.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing work. I'm making money. I'm making the company that I work for money. I'm supporting my children and ex-wife and lots of other really good things. If I work 16 hours and my bosses were like, "Wow, you're so awesome. You're the best." Like that's good for me. That's good for my career. That's good for them. That's until I drop dead or my head explodes one day. But in the meantime, that's really good.
Yeah.
Realizing that like shit, I haven't moved. Like like I have legs and they're like anatomically designed to propel me forward and backward and sideways. And I'm just sitting at a desk and they're just like dangling because I'm really short. And so like realizing like, okay, that really is a problem. I need to fix it. I need to do something about it. I need to, not be so sedimentary all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's just for me, like I'm like rambling on about this, but like for me, the big realization for me with that was, getting out of the house, working out of the house, going into an office, and even if I am sitting in my desk all day, like I rarely hit my 10,000 step goal because whatever, I don't like when people tell me what to do, but
Because reasons.
right, I mean, on a average day, average work day where I am sitting at my desk for at least one of the 8 hours that I'm there. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm at my desk all day. I'm still getting 5,000 steps, 5,500, sometimes 6,000. I'll mix it up some days and go over and play basketball with my son. And then I'll hit my goal. At PHP Tech, this is a really good example of how I got my steps in. I ran out of cigarettes. And the closest gas station was a mile and a half away. So and I didn't have a car, and I didn't think that Grumpy was going to let me drive his Testmore mobile. Actually, I'm certain that he wasn't. I walked a mile and a half down the road to pay like $12.50 a pack for cigarettes, and then walked a mile and a half back. I got like 8,500 steps in before like 10 o'clock. It was horrible. No, it was just it was just that counterproductive. Like, hey, I'm going to get a lot of exercise in and then kill myself with cigarette smoke. But like things like that. There are occasions where I'll go above and beyond. I'll get 12, 13, 15,000 steps, whatever. But on a normal average, just kind of like run of the mill day, like if I get 5,500 steps in, like I had a lot of meetings that day. Basically, kind of what it comes down to.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really relate on the whole, going to get cigarettes as a way to increase your healthy step goal. But yeah, I get your point. Right?
Substitute cigarettes with dog food.
Okay. Yeah, I can't see myself walking to a convenience store for dog food, but you never know.
And you never will with that attitude.
Yeah, that's true. Never ever. Yeah, I mean, I think So back to that. I think it's and this is something that I used to do. At one of my older jobs was, just I knew I was taking a break or whatever. So, or I would set a thing on my calendar and say, hey, at 10:15, you've got 15 minutes, go outside and walk, or you know,
Go live.
actually, so I can kind of relate to the whole cigarette thing because we and this is really dumb, but
Uh-oh. Are you
we
being
used to
unhealthy?
we used to want to drink or we used to drink Dr. Peppers, right?
Oh,
And the the school that I worked at, they switched from one like they switched from like Coke as a supplier to Pepsi one year, and
to
then
Fanta.
they replaced all the machines on campus, but only certain ones had Dr. Pepper in them, and the one that was in or like closest to our building didn't have Dr. Pepper, but we knew of one like across the way that did. So we would take breaks to walk there to get drinks. So it's like we're walking and burning like 100 calories to drink a 290 calorie Dr. Pepper or whatever.
Sugar
But
water.
hey, we got our steps in,
Right.
man. So
Yeah, it's
that's
the
what
same thing.
counts.
It's the
That's
same
that's
thing.
it is very similar.
I do that
Yeah.
with our Arnie Palms now. We have a Rite Aid, like over, takes us 2 minutes to walk there, but I'm like, I don't know. Like you're used to it being like really super hot
Yes.
because of where you live, like basically, like in America's armpit or something.
I
I
thought
think.
that was Indiana.
Okay. Pipe down. I think that's America's crown. Um, you live in a place where I don't even know how people live there. I don't even know how it's even inhabitable. It was like 92 today with like, I don't know, probably 45% humidity. And like everybody I talked to was like, man, this sucks. Like, this is like the worst like weather ever. We want our 15 feet of snow back. No one actually said that except me, but like even like just going outside and walking to Rite Aid, 2 minutes there, 2 minutes back, in what we consider to be very, very uncomfortably hot weather. Um, I like to think it's healthy. I mean, I like to think I sweat enough on the way back that I burned off that Arnie Palms that I just drank like almost immediately.
Well, you certainly lost the water that's in the Arnie Palms that you're.
There's no water in it, so
Well, do they
it's
make the-
actually no, it's our little known fact. I'm trying to see if I have a bottle around here or a can. I don't. Um, it's actually made from Arnold Palmer's sweat. Most people don't know that.
That would explain the taste. That one time I had one. Yeah.
Right? Like glorious.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Glorious.
My golf game has gotten so much better since I started drinking them. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You're not even going to humor me tonight, are you?
No, I'm not. Yeah, but I mean, so the weather, that it's actually pretty similar to what we had today. It was 97 and like 42% humidity or something like that.
It's the pits, man.
Yeah. It's not too bad. It's been a pleasant summer. It's been a pleasant summer around here. It's not been 110 every day.
There's like a babbling brook around the office. I had actually considered at one point today going for a little frolic in the babbling brook. So we just have different perspectives. I'm sure if you came up here in the winter, you would be like, yeah.
You people
I don't even want to look outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
indeed.
So we started talking about weather. This is like probably the most prepared we've been for one of these in a while.
Yeah. No,
do we have a quota to fill, by the way, like time wise? Do we have like, are we gonna disappoint people if it's like less than...
I mean, I don't think so.
I mean,
I think originally when we started this thing off, our plan was to shoot for an hour. And then I think we've consistently been like an hour and a half every single episode. Or at least
we've been pretty close. I think we've had a couple. I thought our first one was like an hour 45, and we're like, how do we stop? We just keep talking. How do we stop this?
We gotta shut up.
Like a car with no brakes. We're just like barreling through the strip mall.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
no, and I think
I just want to make sure we don't disappoint people like more than we normally do.
I don't know. Who knows? I'm sure we'll get some hate mail. Yeah, no, I think the other thing is just, you know, it is a sedentary job or a sedimentary job. And you know, it is very easy, I think, to go, especially, you know, for me, it's, you know, it's very easy to go months without, you know, actually exercising beyond just normal walking that you do for, you know, I think I found myself a couple of months ago thinking, oh, I got some exercise in because we went to the grocery store today. And at that point I realized that there was something severely wrong with my life.
Yeah.
And, you know, I needed to fix it. So, you know, my advice, you know, especially if you're, you know, just starting out or whatever, or
It's the grocery store excites you.
yeah, like if you start thinking to yourself, you know, if you start attributing sweeping your house as exercise or something like that, at that point you should probably think about stepping away from the computer for a while and, you know, going and exercising some other way, whether you're into the gym thing or CrossFit or
Swiffer.
going to the track or rollerblading or whatever your thing is, right?
Yeah.
Not golf, because that's not exercise.
Do people still rollerblade? Is that still a thing?
I've seen people rollerblading.
Like the last person I saw rollerblading was Terry on Reno 911.
I'm pretty sure I've seen people rollerblading. I don't know, but whatever. Like whatever your thing is.
It's probably not rollerblading. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Okay, bicycling. Excuse me. Go do something. You know, that's the thing. I mean, for me, it's very easy to get back into the habit, I think, of exercising. The problem is continually doing it forever. Like I'll get into it, and then like 3 months later, I'll be like, oh, I could take a day off. Not a big deal. And then
crumbles.
and then I'm like, and then I look up and it's been 2 weeks.
Right.
Like, oh crap. So, you know, just set a plan. Think about it like anything else in your life. You know, figure out how to schedule your time, and think about moving, like not moving jobs or houses, like moving your bodies.
Physically moving.
Yeah, physically moving.
And you know what? If you're feeling squirrely, if you're feeling motivated, try to bring rollerblading back. I mean, like that's kind of the trend. Like things that, you know, kind of fell out of style. Like if you could somehow bring like rollerblading jorts and a fanny pack back, like all in the same time, you'd be doing so much traveling just from all the, like, you know, you'd be on Ellen and Oprah and The View and stuff. Like,
if you're feeling like doing that, you should create a YouTube channel of you doing these things, and Matt will be your first subscriber.
I will subscribe. I would subscribe the shit out of that.
He will subscribe and like, which is what every YouTuber ever wants you to do, is subscribe and like. Even if you haven't even seen their video yet, the first thing they tell you is to subscribe and like.
Yeah, like you don't even know if it's good yet. And
yeah, I mean, you're like, on it. I just know that the thumbnail and the title and description somewhat match what I was looking for. I'm not going to subscribe to your channel because I was looking up how to organize my Post-it notes or whatever.
Right.
Right. Like,
well, I always click on those, like how to organize your Post-it notes, and I get rickrolled.
Well, you've got some great friends then. Yeah.
I know.
So, I mean, I think that's all I have to say about this, honestly, is, you know, I'm trying to do this with my life. So if you want to tweet me and tell me to keep doing it or whatever, that's great. But if not, that's fine too. I'll figure it out. I'll constantly chase.
I don't need you.
I don't need you. I'll constantly chase Omni's 8 billion steps per day.
I can't even fathom. Like, I think it would be so funny to observe him. Like at like 3 o'clock, you know, he's like 8,000 steps. He's like, all right, I got to get like another 10,000 steps in. He's just like has like I picture him like a backpack with like a laptop holder. He's just like walking around like typing and like yelling at people about tests and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's kind of funny. And this kind of reminded me of something. But a friend of mine, Derek Bailey, I know a while ago, I think he bought a treadmill desk, or he, you know, bought a treadmill and like rigged up some desks or something like that. And I remember he was like,
A Jimmy Rig treadmill desk.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't remember if he bought like an act whatever. But
Yeah.
so he bought this thing. He's like, oh, I'm going to do this, and he did it for a while. And then I remember, a specific tweet that was kind of humorous to me is, one day he realized that his treadmill is suffering the fate of most treadmills in people's houses, which is it's now like a laundry rack or
Right.
place to store boxes or whatever.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I think that I think the problem with that would be, for me anyway, is it's a treadmill desk. And so I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And then the novelty would wear off from the fact that I can walk while I'm working or whatever. And then I wouldn't want to do that anymore. Like I physically have to get up from, like, the goal here is not computer while you're exercising.
Right.
The goal is to exercise, computer later.
Right.
Yeah. So I think
put the damn computer down.
That's my thing is, I think these things are great. And I think that there's a lot of innovation that's probably going to come with stuff like this, like figuring out, well, like the whole sit on a stress, like one of those exercise balls instead of a chair, like you'll automatically lose 100 pounds and, whatever. And then there's the, standing desks and everything like that. And, I think they're okay and they're right for some people. But for me, I'm like, my goal is less time in this white glow of the computer screen and more time moving. Like that's my thing right now, is just take the sedentariness out of this job.
There you go, getting all sentimental on me again. No,
sediment.
I feel compelled to point this out.
Okay.
Completely unrelated to the actual topic of the podcast. I've recorded this whole entire episode on the crappy built-in microphone on my Mac, and not this really expensive dangling one that's sitting here in front of my face. So I feel like an idiot.
Well, maybe it's just the sedentary.
I think the sedimentariness is getting to me.
Yeah, it's possible.
I'm gonna go for a yog.
A yog. But okay, I don't know. So I mean, that's just
feels like we should wrap this up.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is it is by nature a sedentary job. Like it is a desk job. You are, I guess, required to type a lot of things, and in order to do that, you need to be in front of a computer. Right now, I mean, maybe someday we'll have like these mind links that will create programs for us while we're thinking, but for now, you actually have to type. So my advice is figure out ways that you can work in moving away from the computer in the day. Just do that, and then figure out, if you have the time, carve out the time, like take a break from your open source project 2 times a week or whatever, and go for a jog or go jump rope or bring back rollerblading or whatever it is that you want to do. Like, do that.
If you rollerblade, like, I don't know if there's something that we can do like other than like retweet it. But if somebody wants to send us like a photo or a video of them rollerblading, I mean, I guess I would watch that.
It'll be like your Shovel Girl.
Yeah, you could replace Shovel Girl in my heart.
You can be like Rollerblading Girl
or boy
or whatever.
Right. We're not. We keep it equal here. Rollerblading person.
Yeah.
Rollerbladist.
Rollerbladist.
We've talked about rollerblading a lot.
It's our new ditch digging.
Hey, we got to evolve. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I have a whole lot else to add. I do have time for one more kind of like off the wall thing. You'd mentioned the mind link thing, where like you could think things and like it would make the program for you or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, my program, I would not have a job. like if they were like, hey, we need you to like design this really simple like login screen, like, and it was all in my mind, like there'd be like fields, there'd be some like goofy ass colors. Because like I'm like, oh, that maybe that'll look good. Like that's always the first thought I have. Like, Yeah, maybe this like puke brown and like bright yellow, like just like jam together. Um, they don't, and like then there'd be like birds and baseball players and like naked people. I mean, it would be I would be fired like within the first probably 3 hours of having that job. So I for one am coming out officially against mind link programming.
Well, I think you don't have to worry about that for quite some time, so
Well,
you're probably all right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I hope so.
So you can stick to rollerblading and it'll be good.
Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll be the one shooting the rollerblading video.
I think I have some rollerblades. I'll try to find them.
I would
Could be a thing.
I would actually rather watch you rollerblade than rollerblade myself.
Okay, I don't know how to take that, but
No, I would. It would be funny to me.
yeah. Anyway. All right. I think we're done.
Good show.
Yeah, that was a good show. Anyway, that is episode 27 of the Loosely Couple podcast. Don't make your life sedimentary. Get
Go
up,
live.
move, do it. You should do it now. Thanks very much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Later.